You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. LSU reports for fall camp today. Wednesday, today, LSU reports to camp for the first and the inaugural camp under Brian Kelly. Tigers will hit the practice field on Thursday for the first time in Brian Kelly's inaugural season as LSU's head coach. For as long as there will be media availability, we will get you camp reports throughout. There is availability for Thursday's practice. Media availability at 4:15, so we will, for 30 minutes, Shea Dixon will be out there for us watching, and he'll join us on the show in the 5 o'clock hour to give us a little recap of what went down at the first practice under Brian Kelly here at LSU. But when the Tigers do hit the field for fall camp, there are obviously going to be position battles and storylines worth watching. So that's what I want to touch on here. On the eve of LSU hitting the practice field for the first time under Brian Kelly in a fall camp, the biggest storylines that I'll be watching when the Tigers hit the practice field. All right, let's do it. First things first. And when we went through our position previews last month, if you were here for it, one of the ones that I talked about primarily that really has me concerned is special teams. And although we're probably not going to get to see much in practice with the media availability by way of special teams, keep in mind, Avery Atkins was your punter. He's gone. Cade York, greatest field goal kicker in the history of the program. He's gone. Damn near everybody who returned a kick or punt for LSU last year. Punts, Trey Palmer, Coy Moore, Deion Smith. All three are gone. Kickoffs, Trey Palmer, Keyshawn Butte, John Trey Kirkland, Chris Hilton, Corey Kiner. 3 of the 5 are gone, and you better believe Keyshawn Butte ain't returning kicks. My point is, you got to go figure out special teams in this fall camp. You know Jay Bramblett's going to be your punter. You ain't lost your long snapper. Remember, you brought in Skinner, the long snapper from East Carolina. So you are replacing all of your specialists, and there's one job that you know is locked up, and that's Jay Bramblett, the punter. Other than that, you got to figure that out this camp. That, for me, is the 4th biggest question mark in fall camp. Number 3, I like that sound effect. It was really powerful. A little zoom, boom, pow. The chicken's jacking my style. They try to copy my swagger. I'm on that next-ish now. Did I just make that song infinitely less cool than it was? I don't care. Not even mad. Linebacker. I think this is a position where we are assuming LSU is set because they have bodies. What they don't have is production at linebacker, and they need to figure it out. Damone Clark was your leading tackler a year ago with 135 tackles. I'll say it again. Damone Clark was your leading tackler with 135 tackles. That was second in the country. If Damone Clark had played in the bowl game, he would have led college football in tackles last season. He's gone. Your second leading tackler was Micah Baskerville with 83. There is nobody else on your roster with that many skins on the wall. Mike Jones had 34 last year. You got to go way down to find Greg Penn with his 11 tackles a season ago. You bring in Colby Fields, the transfer from South Carolina. You bring in West Weeks, the transfer from Virginia. You signed 5-star Harold Perkins. A lot of guys, a lot of promise, not a lot of skins on the wall. So, can Micah Baskerville reestablish himself as a starter? Is Mike Jones ready to be an every down linebacker in the SEC? Is Greg Penn ready to take that step like a lot of people around the program think or hope he is? You got to get answers to the affirmative there, because the reason your defense was even somewhat respectable last year is because Damone Clark played his behind off every snap and made every dang tackle. And that when he didn't, Baskerville was making the other one. He wasn't even starting for you in spring. You got to figure out linebacker in fall camp. All right, by now you should know where this one is going to go, but when LSU played Kansas State in the bowl game, your starting offensive line was Austin Deculus, not here anymore. Chasen Hines, not here anymore. Cam Wire, who is here, but not guaranteed a starting spot. Certainly not at left tackle where he started in that bowl game. Liam Shanahan, not here anymore. Ed Ingram, not here anymore. 4 of your 5 starters in that bowl game against Kansas State are gone. The one guy returning is probably going to lose his job to a true freshman. That's not good. LSU has 10 players that have made at least one start on the offensive line in their college career. 10 guys. There's 2 ways to look at that. Number 1, got a lot of guys with experience. Or number 2, all those guys who played and you don't have a starting 5 yet? Just because you played doesn't mean you played well. I think that's the symptom of this LSU offensive line. Y'all, they got receivers. And I think they have really talented running backs as well. We'll find out who's going to play quarterback. But if that offensive line is a sieve, none of that matters. If the quarterback doesn't have time to throw it to the really good receivers, if the really talented running backs don't have holes to run through, none of that matters. At this level, games, this is not breaking news. Like, you all know this intuitively. Like, you all watch football, clearly. You're listening to a sports talk show. You get it. Games are won and lost at the line of scrimmage. You've got to be able to move other large human beings. I have no earthly idea whatsoever if LSU's offensive line is going to be worth a good gosh darn. I think Brad Davis is a fantastic coach, and I think he coached them up really well throughout the season a year ago. They were very bad to start the season. Tommy Moffitt sat next to me yesterday and acknowledged that was a weakness on that team a year ago. You had a lot of guys. You brought in transfers. I don't know if Tremont Shorts is going to be any good. I don't know if Miles Frazier is going to start. I don't know if Will Campbell's ready to be a starter as a true freshman at left tackle. I have no idea who's going to play center. Is Charles Turner finally ready to take that step? If not, someone who's never played center before is going to have to be your starting center. You got a lot of questions there, and you got 4 weeks to figure it out on the offensive line. And, of course, it goes without saying, the most important position in all of team sports is quarterback. And nobody knows who LSU's quarterback is going to be. And I don't even think Brian Kelly right now knows who LSU's quarterback can be. I think he has an idea of who he'd like it to be if everything goes well. But I can make a case for any of the 3 guys that are in the competition. I know Walker Howard's there, but we all understand Walker Howard's going to take a red shirt this year. I can make the case for Miles Brennan. 6th year, stoic, tall kid, big arm, tons of arm talent, been around, respected the teammates, all that stuff. That's true. I could make the case for Jaden Daniels. 30 career starts. He's been dynamic. The most dynamic skill set with his running ability. He's by far the most experienced of any of the quarterbacks. And if they were happy with their room, why would they have gone and got him? I could make the case for Jaden Daniels. I could make the case for Garrett Nussmeier. Nobody was more talked about during spring than Nussmeier. Redshirt freshman Malik Neighbors yesterday gushed about the progress that Garrett Nussmeier has made. Phenomenal leader. The arm talent's undeniable. He's got the moxie, the son of a coach. He's got the arm talent. Got all of it. Got the whole package. Careless with the football. Can you really afford turnovers with a first-time starter? That's a big question as well. They got 2 weeks to figure that out. Y'all, Florida State has a week 0 game. They're already practicing. They've got a jump start on LSU. So the Tigers have got to get quarterback figured out so they can have 2 weeks of just sprinting toward that game against Florida State. 'Cause you've got to get off on a good foot this season under Brian Kelly in the Superdome against the Seminoles. Those are the top 4 storylines I'm looking at when the Tigers hit the practice field to start fall camp on Thursday. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.